Hello everyone, my name is Chris from the Commander Crew and welcome to From Pennies to Power. Here we break down decks that create a balanced build without breaking the bank. Over time I have found that a well-rounded budget for an entire deck is generally about $100. Through my current meta and the consistent growth towards competitive, players need to find that right budget. With $100 we can have a high enough cap with more options for the decks. Here on From Pennies to Power we brew decks the casual player wants that gives them the competitive edge. My decks are built on value, not their price. As Commander becomes more popular, a single deck is consistently rising in price. My objective is to create a fun and inexpensive deck that is both strong and focused. Prices are calculated using TCG player optimization, and they exclude the basic lands, as they can be found at your local game store or simply from friends. The prices are set from the time of the recording and over time may change. Within this budget, I'm going to include the Commander, as the Commander can be a huge aspect of the entire deck. In these breakdowns, we will explain the win con, how to get there, and define your line of defense. Are you ready for the power? Now let's pinch some pennies and start brewing. Hi, my name is Chris from the Commander Crew, and welcome to the second episode of From Pennies to Power. Here on From Pennies to Power, we build powerful decks that don't break the bank. On today's episode, we're going over Sram Senior Edificer. He is a 1 and a white Dwarf Advisor 2/2 that reads, whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle, you may draw a card. Now some builds will focus on all three, but on this build we're going to be focusing solely on auras, with a couple of equipments here and there. The primary objective of this deck was to cast tons of enchantments, basically draw your entire deck, splash a little bit of Voltron in there, and if that doesn't work, create an army to defend your captain. Now let's start off with some mana fixing, with some rocks and gems. Now the benefit of these mana rocks and gems is that they're colorless, so you don't have to worry about finding that specific color to help you fix your mana. To begin, we have Gold Mirror, Mind Stone, and Marble Diamond, all of which will tap for additional mana. Some are creatures and some intertap, but they can definitely help out with that ramp when you're playing mono white. In addition, we also have Mana Geode, Prismatic Lens, and Hedron Archive. These cards will help you scry, fix your mana, or draw you additional cards in the late game. Now when you're playing mono white, you're always going to want to look for a little bit of extra help. Thankfully, with auras and enchantments, there's a lot of things that help reduce that cost to help play more spells in a single turn. To begin, we have Transcended Envoy from the new set and Hero of Erois. Now both of these cards work very similarly, that they make your aura spells cost 1 less to cast. Now this can be substantially helpful in the late game when you're trying to cast more than one spell at a single turn. Transcendent Envoy is a 1/2 with flying, so a little bit of evasion, and Hero of Erois is a 2/2 that has heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets him, he put a 1/1 counter on him. So potentially in the late game, if you have a lot of auras to cast, you can place them on him and build your own little mini Voltron with him himself. We can also get help with a huge army that we can amass over time. We have Archon of Sun's Grace for 2 white, Sigil of the Empty Throne for 3 white, and Ajani's Chosen 2 white. Now Archon and Ajani's are creatures, so they do help additionally there, but the benefit of all of these three is that whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you're creating an additional body. Whether it be a 2/2 white Pegasus with flying, a 4/4 angel creature with flying, or a 2/2 cat creature token. All these cards together can help amass an enormous army that can overwhelm your opponent. Now a huge army can definitely overwhelm your opponent when they think you're just playing a couple of auras here and there, and all of a sudden you have 10, maybe more than that, of random creatures that came out of nowhere. These 3 spells are definitely a solid addition to the deck. Now let's move on to the Scarab Ward. With this, we have the Red Ward, the Black Ward, the Blue Ward, the Green Ward, and the Flickering Ward. All of these cards are extremely effective. For 1 white mana, you can give your creature protection of any color of your choice. And especially with Flickering Ward, it's got the versatility to have any color you want at any point, and if need be, you can bounce it back to your hand and recast it and get that additional costing color. Then comes all the Scarabs. Well, minus the white. We have Black Scarab, Blue Scarab, Red Scarab, and Green Scarab. Now you may have noticed there's no white Scarab or white Ward. That's because, in all honesty, most of your opponents are not going to be playing white. That is the issue. Additionally, if you have protection from white, all these auras are going to fall off. So why waste all your auras you just cast on your creature to basically destroy all of them? So the benefit of having almost no white opponents and having protection from white, kind of redundancy by not having any additional white ward or white scarabs. Now we need to have a little bit of draw and a little bit of recursion. We gotta figure out what we want to get, we gotta find it, and what if it dies? What happens then? For the equipments, we have some free ones. We have a quarter shield, spider silk net, and kite shield. This is basically a free draw for us. For 0 mana, we're gonna get an equipment that we can equip at later cost to give a little bigger toughness, but additionally, it's a free draw. What can't you go wrong with a free draw? We also have Sigarda's Aid, which for 1 white can give all our auras and those few equipments flash. That can come in substantially helpful, and whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to a creature you control. Now those previous equipments buff our toughness, so say something were to happen to the creature and he's gonna die, out of the blue, boom, our creature's not protected at any moment. And additionally, we have Mace Enchantress. It's basically a second almost of a Sram. It's for 1 white, what you get is O2, but whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you draw a card. That's just more draw on top of more draw. But what happens when things need to come back? We have Scarab of the Unseen, brought back, and Crystal Chimes. Scarab reads, sacrifice Scarab of the Unseen to return all enchantments on target permanent you own to their owner's hand and draw a card at the beginning of the next upkeep. So if Sram's gonna die and you're trying to make him a Voltron, but you don't want to lose all those enchantments, you crack this, boom, all your enchantments come right back to your hand, you can do it all over again. It also works when you're trying to combo off of it towards the end of the game. You want to draw more cards, play all your enchantments, bring them back, play it again. Very additional to brought back. If you have 2 permanent cards that were put in your grave this turn, you can put them right back into the battlefield tapped. That can definitely help out if Sram or someone else were to die. Lastly, this Crystal Chimes. For 3, you sacrifice it, return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to your hand. So say there's no way to bring them back at a certain time. You draw this later on in the game, boom, you bring all your enchantments right back to your hand and do it all over again. As 2 cards, we have Restoration Specialist and Auramancer. These will help you bring back the cards from your graveyard to your hand if on a single line basis. So it can definitely help out in the future if you lose one specific enchantment or aura that you really need to have. Now let's get some strength from the gods, where for 1 single enchantment or equipment, we make our creature enormous. We have All That Glitters, Helm of the Gods, and Sage's Reverie. These cards can make our single creature, no matter what creature it is, absolutely enormous. All That Glitters gives the enchanted creature +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. Helm of the Gods, equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. And Sage's Reverie gets +1/+1 for each aura you control that's attached to it, and you draw a card for every aura attached to it when you play this card. These cards are amazing, can give you so much power for a single card. And for even more power, we have Eidolon of Countless Battles for 1 white, Ethereal Armor for 1 white, and Armored Ascension for 3 and a white. All of these are going to give you so much more power for just no mana at all. Whether it be +1/+1 for each enchanted creature and aura you control, +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and first strike, or +1/+1 for each planes you control, and even as flying. These are some seriously strong cards. We have Armored Totem, where we have a little bit more protection for ourselves in case something were to happen. For direct protection, we have Reprobation for 1 and a white, Gelid Shackles for 1 white, and Muzzle for 1 and a white. These can work together to make that one cumbersome, big creature almost nothing. Protection for ourselves, we have Hyena Umbra for 1 white, Felidar Umbra for 1 and a white, and Eland Umbra for 1 and a white. The benefit of these cards is that they give totem armor. So if the enchanted creature were to be destroyed, instead you remove all damage from it and destroy this single aura. It's basically a 2-for-1 when it comes to these cards. We have +1/+1 in first strike, lifelink, and a toughness buff of +0/+4. Now, let's seek and destroy. Let's find those auras that we need. We have Ironclad Slayer for 2 and a white. He's a creature, but when he enters the battlefield, you may return target aura or equipment from your graveyard to your hand. And then we have Heliod's Pilgrim for also 2 and a white, but when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an aura card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. These can bring a single spell back, or search for that single spell that you need. Now if we want to destroy their cards, we have Winds of Wrath for 3 white. Benefit of this is, destroy all creatures with no enchantments on them. This will almost always affect all their creatures and never your creature. We have Disenchant for 1 and a white, destroy target artifact or enchantment. And we have Crush Contraband for 3 and a white. With the benefit of this, you can exile target artifact and exile target enchantment. Now let's figure out some ways to swing in freely. We gotta get right through. We gotta get to the point. Let's just win, you know? We have Indestructibility, Unquestioned Authority, Shielded by Faith, Flicker Form, and Spirit Mantle. These cards make our guy indestructible and get through with no problem at all. Especially, we have Flicker Form, little secret spell out of there. For 2 and white, you can remove enchanted creature and all auras attached to it from the game and then bring it right back. Get a little quick mini evasion to help if, God forbid, your creature's gonna die. An additional hexproofing, we have Mirror Shield that gives the equipped creature +0/+2 and hexproof. Prowler's Helm makes them unblockable except by walls, so pretty much everything. Mask of Avacyn, where the equipped creature gets +1/+2 and has hexproof. These few spells could definitely help out get that additional damage in and make sure our commander is protected at any cost. Let's find our path to victory. These few spells will help protect the commander when in time of need. God's Willing for 1 white, target creature you control gains protection of the color of your choice until end of turn and scry 1. This can be a spot help out, no problem what it'll be. New card, phenomenal card. Karametra's Blessing for 1 white. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Great little buff. But if it's an enchanted creature or enchantment creature, it also gains hexproof and indestructible. This is a phenomenal 2 for 1. Definitely look out for this card. We have Reverent Mantra for 3 and a white. Definitely though, think about this. You may remove a white card in your hand from playing it instead of playing its mana cost. This is basically free almost. All creatures gain protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. This can swing your entire team against an opponent if they're playing a mono color and do so much damage. And additionally, we have Gideon's Sacrifice for 1 white, where if someone's going to come at you, you can choose a creature or planeswalker you control, and all damage that will be dealt to you and permanents you control are dealt to that chosen permanent instead. This is a phenomenal out of the blue, and I've used it before where, oh, I'm going to die to like 100 damage. Guess what? Boom, I'm alive. Sram's dead. Everyone's okay. Some last few spells that can help out are Cartouche Solidarity for 1 white, Griff Spoon for 1 white, and Sentinel's Eyes for 1 white. These will all give a little bit of extra power, a little bit of evasion, and can help out in the long game, you know? And to round it out for spells, we have Mask of Law and Grace, and then Shield of Duty and Reason. These each cost 1 white, and can help protect from black and red, or green and blue, which can become substantially helpful in the long game of it all. Then comes the lands. We have Rogue's Passage to make our creature unblockable, Mistveiled Plains, potentially put cards back from the bottom of our graveyard, the bottom of the library, and the Myriad Landscape to get even more lands if we need it. The rest of the cards are all basic plains. And then that's it. That's the whole deck. Not bad for about $45. Let's see if you can keep building them. You gotta keep to the Aura enchantment build? Or you want to do a little bit of an artifact build with some equipments? I've played both. Both are phenomenal. Both can be extremely deadly. So here we go. Signing off. My name is Chris from the Commander Crew. Thanks for watching From Pennies to Power. Please like, please subscribe. If you have any comments or notes, whatever, throw in the description below. I'd love to hear it all. Have a great day. Peace.